What's up, Dr. Blocks? Welcome to the stream. You have a question. In your next session, the party has to transport a full small village population to the nearest town. How would you go about running that without it feeling dry after an hour? Um,
Don't do a chicken seed and fox puzzle.
don't do that, and certainly don't try to play it out in real time.
Oof.
You're going to want to introduce the idea of a montage to your game. If you've never tried something like that before, um, you want to make sure that there are decisions that can be made that are bigger than normal. And depending on how much time they have to prep, you could even have little adventures that will allow better things to happen. So I don't know the exact specifications of this, but let's say you're moving like a mountain village and you've got to get them down into the valley. Well, there could be a pathway down, but there's actually a pretty fast way through the mines, but the mines aren't safe. But if the party went in and cleared out, the monsters, then that would be actually a more secure way to travel, or vice versa, right? Um, so you could do stuff like that, but then when it comes to actually executing, you want to have them make the decisions and roll for those successes. So you could treat it as a group skill check, or you could do individual, depending on what the types of decisions and how they're going to choose what happens, and then montage that, play it out through, like, okay, well, because you chose this, now let's roll. You can either get all the rolls up front, or you can roll as you go. And the thing to make sure is that you have some idea of, call it like the success state, a failure state, and a middle ground state. You want it to actually matter whether their rolls are successful, and obviously you don't want it to, like, oh, and then you failed. Like, you probably are going to have a metric of, like, how many townsfolk made it, how quickly did they make it, how much trouble did they face, and maybe how much, um, you know, how many resources were spent doing it, or how visible was everybody. Well, however many different ways that you figure it out. Um, I think that can make it more interesting, and I think the more that you signal clear choices that have to be made, like, to the players, the more engaged they're going to be. Like, if it's clear to them that, like, this is the faster but riskier route, but this is the slower, but also, like, there has to be pros and cons to each decision. And I think if you lay those out and make them very clear, then people will be happy to figure out, or to put the energy in to figure out what's the best way to do it. They might even surprise you with extra suggestions that you aren't thinking about, and that's always fun. But I would aim for, like, 3 or 4 decisions that matter, and maybe one of those is tied to, like, if they're willing to go fight this, like, purple worm in the cave, then, like, that will open up another option. But, like, 3 or 4 decisions, it's not too many, but it's enough that you can get a few different outcomes, and their choices and the quality of the roles given how they choose to go about those things will actually make a difference.
Okay, so I was thinking while you were doing your description of the montage,
Yes.
um, is the chicken seed and fox puzzle still well known?
Um, I mean, for weirdos like us, probably. For people that have played tabletop games, probably. It's just what I feel like. It's one of those that pops up. But
I
I do
learned it
think you
in
can have fun
Andromeda.
abstracting, and like, it would be interesting to see it applied in as large a capacity as possible. Like, could it would it could it reasonably make sense in the context of moving masses of people, and coordinating it with some other large entity, like, figuring stuff like that out. Like, that could be kind of fun. Like,
Hmm.
even if somebody did notice it, be like, oh, well, that's a clever use of it, right? But it's kind of like
Yeah.
the water, the pouring the water to get the right amount type of puzzle, where I don't think it hurts anything to use it, but I do think that it there's there's probably another way. There's
I
probably
think at
another
this point,
idea.
those are the kind of puzzles that were, well, it feels like they were really well known or just
Yeah.
pervasive
Yeah.
years ago.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, everyone knows them. But now you'd see them in like a puzzle on a reality show
Right.
where
Yeah.
it's like, of course, these people aren't the type to have already seen these puzzles and know their
Correct.
solutions.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.